When you hear about wasting potential in MMA, you probably think of Tom Aspinall.
And it's not just about money, it's about you want your fighters to have fights when they're fit to fight. And he's not having fights.
A guy who for the past 2 years fought only twice due to certain circumstances. But Tom Aspinall was UFC interim champ, and he got promoted to undisputed.
UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
He's at the top of the sport and the whole world knows him.
Fucking great.
I guess he'll be okay.
I'm looking forward to the Tom Aspinall era.
I'm going to keep this thing as active as possible. I want to be the best heavyweight ever to walk the face of the earth. I'm going to defend this thing as many times as I possibly can.
All the luck to you, Tom. But when you look overseas, outside of the UFC, there's one guy called Roberto Soldic.
I think that guy's the future. He's a fucking absolute specimen. He's been the greatest training partner I've ever had in my career.
A fighter in his absolute prime. A knockout artist with UFC championship potential.
Just waiting to opportune himself, that big left hand. Oh, and that was a left hand.
And believe it or not, right now he's doing a boxing match. Yes, a boxing match in Poland.
I'm coming to fame now against big legend Tomasz Adamek. Boxing fight is his sport. I'm an MMA fighter, but this is my small adventure to go back in Poland after 3 years.
Due to the lack of fights in one championship, one of the best fighters outside the UFC is now taking a boxing match just to stay in shape and keep some competition going.
After KSW, I have many options. I get offer from UFC twice. I get offer from one. I get also offer from KSW that I continue the contract and everything, and I choose the one. They also allow me that I fight kickboxing, Muay Thai, and now they allow me to do boxing in Fame MMA.
At the time, one looked like the best option for Roberto.
So for me, that time, the best solution was the one championship.
But as time went on, it turned out it wasn't. Before we dive into this story, make sure to subscribe to MMA Explained, because if you don't, John Jones might just show up at your house. Roberto Soldic was born in Bosnia, and like many fighters, his journey wasn't easy. War, poverty, and a life you definitely wouldn't be comfortable with.
Tako da sam puno u životu dosta stvari prošao, tako da, ali ja to ne pričam.
His first fights weren't in the cage.
Fight career starts here. I have so many fights in the school on this place. I want to play football. They say no, you cannot go inside, and there is the problem, you know.
Nightclub shifts at night, training in the mornings, a story many fighters can relate to.
And I hated it. I hated it, you know, because a bouncer, I think, it's not about skills, it's about, I mean, you need someone who needs to take top, but you need a guy that looks tough so people respect him. I don't look tough, you know, and I wasn't known at that time.
The door to mixed martial arts opened when he discovered judo, a skill that would later show up in some of his biggest fights. In 2015, Roberto met his manager, who would become very important in this whole story.
Ja njemu vjerujem i opasan je menadžer.
Opasan?
Kako sam ja opasan borac i sve, on je opasan menadžer i...
Not long after, at just 20 years old, he moved to Germany and joined UFD Gym, and for the next 2 years, he slept in that gym.
Man, 2 years I live in the gym. I just train. Just train, you know. It was tough life in Germany that time, you know.
But those tough times made him into a tough fighter. At only 22 years old, Roberto already held 4 belts across different European MMA organizations. Then came the call, a short-notice title fight in the biggest promotion in Europe, KSW.
And you, KSW welterweight champion, the RoboCop, Roberto Soldic.
The risk paid off. Roberto became the KSW welterweight champion, and suddenly he was one of the hottest prospects in MMA. At that point, he had an 85% finish rate, and just like that, the door got knocked. The UFC came with an offer for Roberto to fight at UFC London in March 2018.
Sean Shelby se javio nama I ponudio je meč ugovor.
And the opponent should have been none other than Sean Strickland.
Oh man, I made the champion man with his frosted tips and his gay little watch. Oh no!
Prvi protivnik bi bio Sean Strickland u Londonu.
But Roberto and his manager declined the UFC, saying there would be a time for that. Roberto was young, and he should keep fighting outside the UFC to gain more experience.
Nek odradi još malo iskustvo u KSV-u I onda doće vrijeme za tek ima 23 godine, bit će vrijeme.
And the first matchup, DDP. What a way to gain experience.
Where are his strengths and where are his weaknesses?
Probably his upper body, but you know, that's a bodybuilding body right there. That's not a fighter's body. I can see that. He's bloated up. He has small legs, he's small joints. He's a smaller guy than I am. He's much shorter. Tomorrow night I'll show him what a big welterweight is.
The only thing I'm focused on is getting this belt, the welterweight belt, and I will be doing it in spectacular fashion.
Unfortunately for Roberto, Dricus did exactly what he said he was going to do. He caught him with a perfect left hook and finished him with ground and pound.
And you, KSW welterweight champion of the world.
4 months later, in a rematch, Roberto beat Dricus like nobody ever had and reclaimed the KSW gold.
Just waiting to opportune himself, that big left hand. Oh, and that was a left hook that finished everything. It's all over. It's another.
And that's where a star was beginning to take shape. Roberto started building his name as one of the most dangerous fighters outside the UFC. He went on a tear, 6 wins, 5 knockouts. Every time he fought, he delivered violence. One by one, he was stacking highlight reel finishes and becoming a true star in KSW. And then came the end of the road, the final boss, Mamed Khalidov. The biggest legend in KSW history, the face of Polish MMA, and a superstar fighting in front of 20,000 fans. But Roberto didn't care about the pressure. He walked in and he knocked Khalidov out cold. Roberto became a double KSW champion, beating every challenge the organisation put in front of him. Every MMA promotion in the world wanted him on their roster. And this short history was important to give you the context of just how big of a superstar he was at that moment. 26 years old, double KSW champion, 18 knockouts, a massive social media following. He was capable of filling out any arena with 20,000 fans across Eastern Europe, whether it was under the UFC banner, KSW, or any other organisation.
Roberto je ovog časa dvostruki prvak najjače europske organizacije KSV-a u welteru i srednjoj i tražena je roba. Reci nam nešto o tome koga sve želi i kakva je situacija na tržištu zapravo?
Ja bih rekao da ga cijeli svijet želi, znači najveće organizacije na svijetu ga želu, to je UFC koja je broj 1, znači koja je najveća organizacija na svijetu, onda ONE FC koja je najveća u Aziju organizacija, tu je isto Bellator i PFL, znači svi ga tražu.
Apparently, when you're the most wanted fighter on the market, organizations start fighting over you.
U stvari već smo u pregovorima sa KSV-om, oni žele da produžu ugovor sa Robertom, znači do njega je, ali želi ga isto UFC i te druge organizacije koje sam samo malo prije nabrojio. Bili smo nedavno u Londonu, gdje smo se našli sa gospodinom Hunterom, on je Dana White tu najglavniji u UFC-u i rekao mu je, baš ga želi i UFC sve radi da Roberto potpiše kod UFC-a.
But Roberto's intentions were clear.
Mogu i reći javno, volio bi da sam u UFC-u, da se to već jednom dogodi, da se riješi. Bili smo u Londonu, pričali smo, jako dobar ugovor smo dobili, mislim, pregovor. Ivan je pričao sa ovim Hunterom. Jednostavno, dosta mi, mislim, Poljska 5 godina, sve znam šta neće. To će se desiti, možda i UFC-u postane monotono, znaš zašto si došao, nema neki veliki izazov, a nakon Mameda nema više. Ja sam imao taj izazov sa njim.
Roberto always expressed his desire to fight in the UFC for the prestige, competition, and belt. But KSW wasn't going to make it easy for their biggest star to just walk away.
Šta može KSV učiniti da te zadrži?
Ponudili su velike pare, sve stoji da se treba za kasnije imat para poslije karijere i pa...
I sad šta je tebi važnije? Je li tebi ovog časa važnija zarada ili prestiž?
Sad mi je više prestiž da se borim.
Još više razina zapravo.
But the truth is, he could never continue his journey on the UFC roster. In the negotiations, the UFC told Roberto's manager if he wins 3 fights, he'll get a title shot.
Hunter na razgovoru da mu treba 3 borbe do pojasa i to je za mene najbitnije bilo, znači koliko borbe treba do pojasa. I s time da ima 3 borbe do pojasa, ja mislim da je to jako, jako dobro i da je na kraju krajeva do Roberta. Znači, ako pobjedi te borbe u UFC-u, ako ote u UFC-u, onda mora biti šampion brzo.
But when the contract actually arrived, it was a very different story.
UFC mi ništa nije ozbiljno na papir stavio, rekli su da će biti 3. borba za UFC pojas, to nije stojalo.
Although the UFC failed to deliver one of the key terms in Roberto's contract, at the end of the day, the UFC was his dream. Even without that promise, he probably would have continued his career there. But of course, when it comes to signing a fighter of this caliber, there are always more conditions. And the most important condition is money. Roberto Soldic had a clause in his KSW contract that gave the organisation the right to match any offer from another promotion. The numbers aren't official, but they're very close. Roberto was making between $100,000 and $150,000 per fight in KSW. The UFC came with an offer around $200,000 per fight, but KSW didn't just match it, they countered. They offered a €1 million contract for 4 fights, which works out to $250,000 per fight. UFC countered again with $300,000 per fight. KSW responded with another counter, around $350,000 per fight. After that, the UFC stopped bidding, so even if Roberto had wanted to go to the UFC for less money, he couldn't. KSW wanted to keep their star and were willing to pay more. This didn't look great for the UFC. For all their power and monopoly in the sport, they're known for rewarding fighters who finish fights. In the very same welterweight division where Roberto would have landed, guys like Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad were being criticised for not finishing opponents. But when a 26-year-old knockout artist shows up, dominating everyone in his path, they weren't willing to put up the money. Organisations like PFL and Bellator weren't really in the picture either, because the offers from KSW and the UFC were so much bigger. And at this point, everything pointed to Roberto staying in KSW, with a potential rematch against Khalidov and even the opportunity to chase a 3rd belt. Until one showed up and topped everyone's offer.
And I realized that Roberto is a very, very special talent. Obviously, he's the hottest free agent on the planet today, or was rather, before signing with One. And he had an offer from all the top global organizations, around the world.
One Championship came out with an absurd offer for Roberto Soldic, reportedly around €800,000 per fight, with a contract worth close to 8 figures. You can chase dreams, you can love the big stage, but offers like this, you simply don't turn them down.
They give me opportunity to take all the belts, kickboxing belts, the world champion, Muay Thai world champion, MMA world champion.
One Championship made a lot of promises to Roberto Soldic. They were preparing everything to make him the face of the promotion, the poster boy for their global push.
One of the most sought-after free agents available in the last several years. One Championship has signed him up.
Finally, I find my home. My home is One Championship, and I'm coming for this gold. I try to take belts from MMA, kickbox, and Muay Thai. This is my goal. Only who give me this, it's One Championship.
All right, guys, come along this journey with me. So, Soldic is going to take on Ramazov this Friday, Amazon Prime. Now, they've been parading Soldic, right in front of us. They've just been parading him out there, and his record's pretty good. I'm going off the top of my head, but he's got like 20 wins. He's got just a handful of losses. Going to be taking on Ramazanov. I want to find out all about this.
1 year after his last KSW fight, Roberto was finally ready to make his one championship debut against Murad Ramazanov. Everything looked good until the fight actually happened. In the very first round, Roberto took a brutal groin shot that left him unable to continue, and just like that, his highly anticipated debut ended in a no contest.
Last time out in Manila, all the hype, all the build-up, and then got hit in the balls, illegal groin shot against Ramazanov. How frustrating was that?
Yeah, it was like, a little bit disappointed, but it's not my fault, and the guy just threw that knee in the bad position, and I couldn't continue.
6 months later, Roberto got another chance, this time in the US, against former one champion Sebastian Kadestam. He was a big betting favourite, and everything looked good. In the first round, Roberto mauled him, but in the second round, Kadestam caught him clean and finished him by TKO. After the Kadestam fight, the hype around Roberto dipped a little. The internet turned fast. People started saying he was never that good, that it's better he didn't join the UFC, and like any other human, Roberto wanted to prove them wrong.
It's not easy, it's tough sport, but I have to do this to prove that the people are wrong, Always guys comment this, that, and I tried to finish hard, guys, and that's it, this is my job, this is what I like.
But he never got the chance. Rumours began spreading that one championship was struggling financially. Meanwhile, Roberto just wanted to fight. He even posted a picture tagging one 6 months after his loss, basically asking them to book him. Months kept passing, and Roberto eventually marked 1 full year since the last time he fought. At that point, everyone knew something wasn't right. On the day he signed with ONE, Roberto clearly said they have to offer him at least 3 fights per year.
Tako da... I samo MMA ili?
I MMA i kickboks i Muay Thai, vidit ćemo šta se pruži, ali za početak 100% prvo MMA i uvećanje. Ako sam zdrav, mogu čak 3 borbe godišnje raditi, to mi se jako sviđa.
ONE Championship started breaking contract rules and doing only what was best for the organisation. They slowed down on MMA events and pushed what was most profitable for them.
Znaš, imam ONE ugovor i nažalost prve 2 borbe su loše krenule, mislim, ugovor me veže za ONE, FNC isto, otvorena su mi vrata i FNC i KSV, Oktagon, ljudi šalju ponude, ali imam ugovor, tako da je to malo daljna priča.
Months kept passing, no fight was booked, and then his manager finally spoke out on Instagram. It's been quiet for a long time about Roberto. We've never chosen opponents, we've never rejected opponents. Roberto always wants to fight against the best possible names. The fight date and opponent are set, we're just waiting for the contract. And then, in December 2024, it was finally announced. Roberto would be fighting in February. By the time he stepped back into the cage, it would mark almost 2 years without a fight.
And 2 years is a long time. I guess do you worry about being rusty at all? Like I don't know if you were trying to come back sooner, or if you wanted to kind of really separate yourself from competition. But I guess about the layoff itself, the length is pretty long. So is it something you think will be difficult for you when you get in there?
Yeah, at my age, at that time I was 28. It's like now I'm 30. This year I get straight away to fight, So yeah, it's like, I tried to get fight, but I couldn't. I don't know why. We text them, and finally we have this fight now, and I just focus now. I don't look the past, and I have now chance to prove again who I am and why they call me Robocop, and I try to give all my best for people enjoying my fights, and as always I looking for finish fights, and to bring some good noise in arena.
You can clearly hear that Roberto wanted to say a lot more, but out of respect for the organisation he's part of course he wasn't going to tell us everything. And as he said himself, we don't look at the past. The fight with Dagi Arzlaniev was in front of him.
Robocop is back. 20 February.
The fight started really bad for Roberto. Dagi caught him with a perfect right overhand and dropped him, but Roberto got back to his feet, and that's when he showed us why he's still one of the most dangerous fighters in the world. That was it. Robocop was back. The knockout went viral all over the world. It was one of the best of the year. But then, something important happened. Right after the KO, Roberto left the cage and walked straight to Chatri, the CEO of One Championship. And Roberto wasn't smiling. You could see him talking serious words, face to face. That was the moment we got confirmation. One Championship hadn't fulfilled their obligations to Roberto Soldic.
And then you went over to Chatri Sigyotong and had some words with the boss. What did you tell the CEO of One Championship over there?
Yeah, I just want to say I want a belt. I want a rematch with Kadestan.
Although there were probably tougher words spoken by Roberto in that moment, at the end of the day, it didn't matter. He had all the hype again. He wanted the belt. He wanted the Kadestan rematch. He wanted everything. The fight happened in February, and after that, everyone wanted to see Robocop again as soon as possible. March, April, May, June, and then in July, it was announced that Roberto would step into a boxing ring in the Fame organization in Poland.
Why Fame? Why Fame?
Because it's challenge.
For you?
Yeah, Tomasz Adamek, big name in the boxing sport, and why not to take this challenge?
He even thanked One Championship for allowing him to stay active outside their organization.
And I want to say also thanks to One Championship and Chatri Sigyotong that he let me do this box match, because I have still contract with the One, and I just fought in February. I wait for my title shot in One, and the manager called me. He said this for the boxing fight. Do you want this? I say yes. Where in the Fame? Yeah, why not? Fame is big, you know. Fame, every arena is sold out. I see my Instagram explode. So it's nice, you know. It's good to be to stay active, and for me, like, you know, how to say, I go in again in the fight camp to stay all the time like motivated, sharp, and I like this opportunity, you know, I like this.
But fans didn't react well to Roberto's boxing adventure. One of them even asked him on Instagram, from talking about going to the UFC to fighting a 50-year-old man, do you think that's the right decision? And Roberto responded, I am in One right now, and I'm waiting for the next fight because I recently had one. As for boxing, the situation turned out like that because One allowed me to take the fight. I don't want to fight in the UFC for 50,000 and have to work as a waiter on Saturdays to pay for my fight camp. And that's where Roberto Soldic's career stands today. Robocop is only 30 years old. He has time, he has the skills, and he still has the power to turn things around. But the question is, will One Championship give him that chance? Or will Roberto Soldic go down as one of MMA's biggest cases of wasted potential?